So, hello, welcome to our podcast. This is Curtis.
Yo, what's up? This is Julian.
Okay, and this is Greatness in the Making. This is kind of just a podcast we thought that we should start, obviously. And it's just going to be a place for us to vent, talk, and get some stuff off our chest, some good stuff. And obviously make people laugh, but that comes naturally. So, with you coming back to Pittsburgh, what do you expect, especially now that you're going to be in a city that's been claimed numerous of times in numerous of news medias that we are, in fact, the worst place for black people?
And that ain't nothing new. I will say that I've never personally experienced it or have been so oblivious to the fact that, I've never experienced it. But I've also been out in Slippery Rock in Grove City, conservative-ass Grove City, living next to a llama farm. I'm not even kidding.
Llama farm?
I live right next to a llama farm.
I've never known that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. There is a lot of farm out there. It's in between Slippery Rock. It's Slippery Rock and Grove City right next to each other. So, there's farms everywhere.
Yeah. And it's also not to be really confused with the outlets, because the outlets are 15 minutes from you?
Not even, a lot less.
Yeah.
10, maybe.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, here in Pittsburgh, there are no llama farms. But you grew up here, so you know that.
Yeah.
But the only difference, I think, with the climate now is that people are so openly, at least in my opinion, people are more openly derogatory and racist than they were before, because we have social media outlets. They have a backing in social media that they didn't have before. And now people feel like they have a voice to say whatever they want to say because we have avenues to do that.
What is that Drake said? Twitter fingers?
Yes.
It's just a bunch of cowards.
Yes.
They sit behind the computer screen and just talk a bunch of shit.
Yep.
You would never say that to somebody else's face because you're not bold enough, but you can go ahead and say it behind a computer screen. It's like, ooh, yeah, you're really tough.
And I think what in the workplace now is that things are happening so frequently, they don't know how to handle it. For example, I won't say the job, but I've encountered jobs where I've actively seen them treat certain customers different based on the way they look, the way they act, and the way they behave, just on the basis of stereotypes. So just because a person walks in and looks a certain way, they don't have enough money, I don't expect them to buy anything, you don't got to do much because they're just going to waste your time, or don't expect them to be nice to you or whatever, so just ignore them altogether.
Oh yeah, my girlfriend who used to work at a certain place, we ain't going to name no names, said that actually does happen.
Yes.
It doesn't, it might not be specifically, towards a race, but it does happen. So,
now working in the health field, I see it even more, because now that I'm dealing with a place to where we get governmental assistance for people and a place to live and places to eat and stuff like that, it's actively harder for minorities and people with mental disparities to get the services that they need, to whereas if statistics show, a lot of the majority is using those services more than even the minorities. So it's crazy to me that you would shine something away from someone who statistically seems as though they don't need it, but when in fact they need it, but a group that really doesn't need it, but you continuously give it to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I have patients who don't have a pot to piss in or a place to sleep, and the government gives them the runaround. Oh, well, you don't have an address for us to send your stamps to, but I put my clinic as my address because I'm street homeless. Yeah, but that's not good enough. We need a letter from them. Okay, here's a letter. Yeah, but I don't know. We'll give it to you in 30 days, but I need it now. I'm hungry.
It's because the system is flawed.
Yeah.
There ain't people, I'm not going to say this for all government officials, but
Absolutely
most government officials, especially the ones up at the top, we ain't going to name no names.
No, we are. Trump.
They don't give a crap about you. You might think that they do. Some do. They don't. They're only in it for their agendas. Now, I wish it was a lot better, but it's not. And now I don't have any data for it. I'll be honest with you, but this is just something that I've have observed. So You know, like nobody cares. They don't even care about like students. Like if they actually did, like we wouldn't be in this current like financial epidemic that's been hitting us, you know? Like for many years,
Mm-hmm.
like you go to the guidance counselor in high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
What college do you want to go to? Well, you know, I don't want to go to college. I'm thinking about doing a trade. No, you should go to college.
Right.
All right, I guess I'll go to college. You go to college, you end up having this big bill. You know, you have to take out a loan because, you know,
Since you were forced, you don't know what major you want to go into.
Right.
You're basically learning stuff that you'll never use because it's
Right.
not what you want to do.
Right.
People just say, just get your liberal arts study. And I'm like, literally, if people look at you and you just have a liberal arts study
Yeah.
degree or anything like, they'll be like,
A college degree.
you're finicky.
Yeah.
Why would we want that?
A college degree doesn't hold the same weight that it used to anymore.
No.
Even a master's.
Mm-mm. Especially when you need, it's crazy to me now that to work the basic most like fast food or retail jobs, you need a high school diploma for them to even look at your resume. And then to be like an assistant something anywhere, you have to have a bachelor's degree. And then to even be considered in the role you deserve, you have to have a master's degree. And don't even ask to have your own practice because then you're going to need a doctorate.
You forget about the 5 years of experience.
And the 5, 10, 17 years of experience you need on top of that.
We want a doctorate. With 5 years of experience.
Mm-hmm.
We want a master's graduate
Mm-hmm.
with 15 years of experience.
For you to go get our coffee. And to type up some statistics for us.
For you to look at data for 8 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Like
For you to prove that you can use Microsoft Word. Like
listen, like I'll be the first person to tell you it's all about who you know, right?
Mhm.
In this current economy, in this current society, it's all about who you know. However, with that being said, like for me as a business person, I would want someone who I know is going to do well and who's going to be there for a long time. Like, so I would want a young person in there, have them get the experience, learn on the fly, and then like make it their own. But that's just me. Like, I'm not a businessman yet.
right.
I plan on be. Watch it out. Be a CEO one day.
Mm-hmm.
I got a CEO mindset, so.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, they had less expectations to do the great things they do today. A lot of the self-made people, you don't see them in the media because they don't have to do the shucking and jiving to get where they are.
Right, because they don't care about the media.
Exactly.
Like for some, like at a certain point you do, because that's the society that we live in. All right, so like you gotta like market off of social media. I mean that's business 101 right there. You gotta market off of social media. You gotta hit all your target audience.
Mm-hmm.
But like behind the scenes, before they even get up to that point, they're in the lab, like working, crafting, like
Mm-hmm.
in the studio, like just trying to find out the product and how to reach the people that they think could best use the product.
Right.
Like they don't they care to a certain extent. Like,
But what's crazy about that is that brand, I feel like, is influenced strongly by the black community. A lot of what they're sought after for has been done by the black community.
what do you mean?
I mean that big butts were were celebrated by the black community before anybody else. You think of a lot of the icons from back in the day, Twiggy and Janice Dickinson, and a lot of the models back then, you needed a slim figure, or else you didn't need to be on magazines, you didn't need to be seen, you just didn't need to be anything. But the Beyoncés and even the Halle Berrys and Baps and stuff like that, a lot of our...
Yo, by the way, if you haven't seen that latest picture of Halle Berry at 53,
Oh, yeah, her abs.
oh
Wow. Sure did make us feel lazy, right?
woo, she is so fine.
But yeah, I go to say that to be like a lot of what black people have done, obviously with assimilation and everything like that. We have, all of our good things have been taken and we're like, okay, we'll jazz it up, put a little mayo on it, and then we'll take it and make money off of it.
I like what you did there with the mayo.
They like for instance, calling cornrows boxer braids. A lady made a bonnet company selling them for $100 when any woman, especially if minorities, know they can go to the hair store and get a bonnet for $5 at best. And then with rap music, not saying everyone can do it, but when you're gonna do it, you have to accredit those who paved the way for you, which is the marginalized minority community, Black and Latinos.
Do you think some Jewish people get a pass too? They
No.
kind of. I mean, they kind of get it.
No. And I only say that because their situation was not an American issue.
What about in biblical times too? Like if you read the Bible,
Well, in biblical times, there was no America.
there was no there was no America in biblical times. I'm talking about like just the persecution of the Jews.
Yeah.
You know, which like if you listen to some historians, that like those Jewish people were like of a darker hue.
Well, I feel as though a lot of the predatory like things were based off of status and not that much as race. The Egyptians and the Gentiles and the whoever groups you wanted to claim at the time were based off of status. If you were branched off from the pharaohs, you're all good to go, never going to be a slave, don't worry about that. If you were born of a peasant or a classless woman or anything of that sort, you were expected to be a handmaid or be a slave or, you know, it was based off of class, to whereas today, based off literally just your skin tone and the way you speak, is where your class is going to be. And that's not how it was back then. Like, you could be the smartest person ever, that doesn't matter. Jesus was the smartest person ever, and he was still treated as though he was a slave.
Because he's a Jew.
Because he was what?
Because he was a Jew.
He was with everyone, though.
Yeah.
He was with everyone. He was with the taxpayers. He was with the disciples.
He's with the hoes.
He was with the hoes. And the holies. Didn't matter. But we today don't have that mindset to where we can celebrate people like that.
I think that we do celebrate people. Maybe
In what sense?
like maybe through like some organizations through wrestling.
What?
AEW. AEW has a transgender wrestler and they have a gay wrestler.
What, one? One of each?
One of each.
What does that mean?
But it's something like, you know, it's big. You know, it's small. Yeah, it's small, but it is big. Like, I mean, like, I've never seen a transgender, like, wrestler. Never
That
once.
you know of.
That I know of, yes. That's very correct. But, like, just even, like, you know, having the balls to do that because, like...
But my thing is, that's just ammunition for them to be like, well, we gave you this, so why do you have to complain? Like,
well, how do you
just
know that?
just having one,
well,
because if you think of like the NFL, you think of anything to where it's a money making sports. There's been many of football players and athletes, period, who have came out the closet or have stood their ground in their racial views and have gotten kicked out of the league because of that. Not because of their sports, not because of what they've done in the community, not because of things that actually should matter within the NFL, basically their stats and how they perform. Based off of just your political views, you can be blacklisted from the NFL and any other athletic sport. Anytime you speak your own mind and you're no longer just a ticket value, you're done. LeBron James, when Fox News basically was like, oh, just dribble a ball. Like, we don't need your views. We don't need you to speak on anything. You don't know anything. You're just a basketball player.
Fox News is literal like trash, like trash mountain, all right? I don't even
expand.
Because like, it's just one viewpoint. Like, I'll say the same thing. I'll say the same thing for CNN too. So like, I don't want anybody to listen to this like, oh, well, that's BS. It's like, it's the same thing for CNN because they're both biased. They're both biased news stations.
Yeah.
One is more progressive and one is more conservative. So they're gonna speak to the people that they're trying to get, because at the end of the day, it's a business.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And the only thing I don't like about Fox News that I can never shot CNN for is the fact that they will literally fire their Fox News representatives off of bases that they don't believe. Like, what was her name? Tommy Lauren Tomato Lasagna, whatever her name is, when she basically said that she was for pro-choice, they're like, oh, no, we don't need you anymore. You can go somewhere. Thank you for that.
Did you see that?
Another View? No, we can't handle that.
She did an interview with Arian Foster, which, now that we're on the topic, Arian Foster
Who?
is Arian Foster.
Okay.
Former, NFL running back.
All right.
Used to play for the Houston Texans. I'm not sure if he even still plays anymore. But, he's very outspoken, political, all of that. And it was a good interview. I'm not going to lie, I got, the on-demand Fox news station, whatever it's called, just because I wanted to watch that interview.
Mm-hmm.
And then I deleted it right afterwards.
Okay.
Because I don't need that type of hostility in my life.
Keep away the spirits.
But it was a good interview, man. He was,
What made it good, though?
It was just different viewpoints, He was super respectful. He was super respectful in the in his arguments, but he wasn't afraid to say that no, that's BS.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that you say that is BS, and I
Mm-hmm.
disagree with you, and here's the reason why I disagree with you. And then there's certain points where you're okay, yeah, I understand. Just having a very intelligent conversation without yelling at people.
Right.
We have differences in this country, and that's perfectly and totally okay for us to have disagreements. But as soon as you come at somebody for having a different viewpoint than you, then that makes you ignorant.
It makes the person receiving it ignorant, or the person saying it ignorant.
It makes the person saying it ignorant. Because you're not taking their viewpoint.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to agree with their viewpoint.
Right.
But you can have enough respect and enough sense to say, I see where you're coming from. I don't agree with you, but I understand.
Okay, well, let's test that now then. So, I remember we had a conversation a little while ago about when this whole Kanye situation kind of started with the slavery is a choice thing. Way before the MAGA stuff, way before, other stuff that you can kind of what's wrong with him? But, so, how do you feel about Kanye's progressiveness and Kanye's metamorphosis that he is trying to become today within the Christian community, still being a quote-unquote Republican, and shaming his wife for the way she dresses, and so on and so forth.
I don't know. I don't know. Kanye is all balls of crazy. Kanye's been Kanye since Kanye came out.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't even know how to explain Kanye, and I try not to keep that hostility away from me.
Well, my thing is that the Kanye I remember, the high school dropout, the college dropout,
The outspoken
the 808
activist.
Heartbreaks, that one who was openly I'm gonna cut to the real shit. The fact that our president is not for black people, I don't like it, and it does not need to be any other way but for everyone as Americans.
You know what I think it was?
What was it?
Is that whenever he lost his mind, notice, go back. People who are listening, go back. Listen to his music. Listen to all this stuff that Kanye said, interviews, all of it. Notice it. Notice his difference from when his mom was still alive to when his mom died. That's about black skinhead Yeezus.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to Yeezus. So listen to everything before Yeezus. Listen to Yeezus and listen to everything after Yeezus. There is a complete difference, and there is a different Kanye. I think he's still going through shit with losing his mom, and he has not figured it out yet. I think that sent him off the deep end.
Yes, but I'm never gonna ever discredit someone's pain. But at some point you have to realize, especially as an adult, especially as a father, especially as a husband, that you need therapy.
Yeah.
That you need something to give you a chance to vent about what exactly is going on with you. Instead of trying to cast a shadow over that and telling people that, well, I just have a different ideology than you. I'm just on a different mind spectrum than you are. I'm just this God that no one will ever understand. You need to be I'm hurt. I need someone to listen to me. I need someone to understand that what happened to me through my life with my dad passing, my mom passing, and not having a family, that everyone was after me.
For real, I think
I had no one else to go to.
I think that's what he's saying.
But Kanye.
Like, yeah, I think that's what he's saying. But like in Kanye's way, I don't like. It's hard for me to really feel that his like. His journey is genuine, but like, I am not the one that can judge. Like, I can't judge his journey. His journey is different from my journey with God. I'm going through my own journey with God.
Right.
So like, I can't judge that. But like, I don't know. Like, Kanye's doing Kanye things. Kanye is crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know how to explain him.
Because
I can't.
I don't think it's a judgment at all that anyone is trying to cast on him. And I'm not going to say everybody that we are trying to cast on him.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a concern. Because I'm concerned as someone, and you, like as someone who has lost a parent, that has never had a chance to talk about it, who has never had a chance to listen to his doctors, to take his medications, and to have an actual sit down with someone who cares about him other than someone with a camera in his face. I'm actually concerned that he's just going to go off the deep end. Because I don't want it to come to a point to where out one day his kids won't have Kanye. You know what I mean? Because that's only going to mess them up and the cycle's going to continue.
So do you think that like everything that Kanye's doing is a cry for help?
Yep. Why else would a black man that has black children go on a side of a open white supremacist and back him in every way and tell people that they're crazy for not supporting this man when that man has openly called his own race and his own class of family and people pieces of shit? Make it make sense, because at the end of the day, it has to be a cry for help. He might be saying, no one's listening to me when I was saying the right thing. Maybe they'll listen to me when I say the wrong thing. Maybe he's using it as a cash grab.
He did go to art school.
After slavery was a choice, yeah, he went number one.
Maybe that's just like, he did go to art school. Maybe he's just like doing it as art. I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
You're calling that an art?
He did not finish art school. So maybe that's why.
Oh, goodness.
Maybe he didn't get that ethics class. It's just like, listen, art's whatever you want it to be. However, if you say some crazy shit like slavery was a choice, black people chose slavery, you're an asshole. He didn't get that class.
Yeah, it's and what he doesn't realize is that you're speaking to a newer generation that doesn't know the real history. How long did it take us to realize that a lot of what's in our history books and was taught in school was wrong?
A long time. Not until we got to college.
Not until we got to college. For years they've been teaching us, they almost glamorized slavery. That there was just this one woman who freed us all, and a white man agreed with her, as in Abraham Lincoln, and was like, yeah, you're right. We should have slaves. And that was it. Nothing else happened. No one tried to escape. No one jumped off the boats. Nobody made revolutions. No one continued to move to the north to feel free. No one bought their slavery and owned their own plantations.
That's where it stopped.
Like,
you don't ever hear about like
no one talks about Jim Crow laws.
Yes, you hear about the special blacks.
Yeah.
Like
you get the Martin Luther Kings,
the George Washington Carver.
Yep. You get the Martin Luther Kings, the Harriet Tubman, the Rosa Parks, and that's it. And maybe a Sojourner Truth thrown in there just because she was an educator.
The guy that invented the Super Soaker, which, if you guys didn't know, he worked for NASA.
And that the stoplight and the toilet was made by a black person.
Did you know
that we would be crashing into each other all day, every day without black people?
Like light bulbs. You know how they say Thomas Edison created light bulbs?
Uh-huh.
It's Thomas Edison, correct?
Yes. No. I'm looking it up. Talk while I look it up.
Yeah, I don't think that's right. But the light bulb, I could be wrong on this.
Okay.
Curtis is going to fact check me.
Yep.
But the light bulb was created by Thomas Edison. It's actually not true. So the filament on the inside was actually created by a black man. I did a whole report on it in like 3rd grade. It was actually created by a black man. and then Thomas Edison took credit for it. Like a lot of things, in our history.
Let me see here. Give me 1 second. Because I'm getting a lot of names. I got a British man named Hiram Maxim.
I want people to also understand. Yes, we are pro-black, but just because we are pro-black doesn't mean we're pro anybody else. Or we're anti anybody else.
No. One thing on that is I've always been raised to treat people as people.
Yes,
Nothing
absolutely.
else. Nothing else. Like, literally, I haven't experienced racism, I've realized, until I got to college. Because I went to Carmel Elementary, for people who in Pittsburgh know what that is. And it has literally every single type of kid. My first best friend was Vietnamese.
My first best friend was white.
Right. Like, I had many white friends, got along with all the white people in the world, all the Hispanic people in the world, all of the people in different classes. I came from a 2-parent home. A lot of the kids I went to school with wouldn't even know what that is. A lot of their uncles and grandmothers raised them. And then I never judged them based off of that. If you don't get me wrong, I got along with a lot of the people because of those situations. Because we were different, I was able to learn something new.
But that's the great thing about America, and this is what kills me about when people like our current president, like his campaign says, "Let's make America great again." How are we gonna make America great again? I mean, like, there's stuff in this country that is messed up, but like, if you were to ask me, I think this country is pretty great already.
But when was it ever great? That's my issue.
You can ask that question, but like, and I agree with you, but in the aspects of like, there's so many people here of different cultures, and that we share each other's cultures here, so like we can take the time, if we have, like, we can take the time to actually out of our days to understand like their culture and where they come from, and then like like that. And I think that that's beautiful. Like, America is is a salad bowl. I wouldn't say it's a melting pot, it's a salad bowl.
And, well, it was made to be a melting pot and ended up being a salad bowl.
It's a salad bowl.
Because
there's people
because the Pilgrims came over, the Indians was like, please come, Native Americans, excuse me, were like, please come, eat with us, join us, you can stay here if you want. And the Pilgrims was like, oh, they're too nice, this land is too nice, we're taking it. And they killing all of you.
Yeah, you bet.
And we're also stealing your wives.
Yeah, we didn't get that.
No one ever talks about that.
In first grade.
Nope. We made our turkeys. We drew the Pilgrims and the Indians eating together. The Indians
ate Thanksgiving dinners. Like, no.
And the Pilgrims went there thinking that it was India. Hence why we call them Indians today.
Well, Christopher Columbus came there because he's a murderous idiot.
Yeah. Thinking it was...
This is India. This is the West Indies. And
no,
these are Indians.
Just because they're slightly browner than you are doesn't mean...
These are the Indians. It's like, you idiot. No, they're Native Americans.
Lewis Howard Latimer was an American inventor who made the light bulb and the telephone.
Yes.
So you wouldn't have an iPhone. One for black people. That is so crazy to me. People really don't understand how stupid that mindset is. If we didn't have one race, we would be better off. It makes no sense. We are better off because we have so many different races. We have so many different cultures that complement each other, that we wouldn't have music, we wouldn't have experiences, we wouldn't have the beautiful things.
We wouldn't have most of the things that we have today.
That we vacation for.
Right. We wouldn't have any, like, although yes, Nike was created by Phil Knight, black man. I mean, like, Nike wouldn't be as big as it was without the hip hop community, or Adidas, or any of that stuff. Like we share culture, and that's how it should be. But if you're gonna participate in the culture, you need to understand where it's coming from.
That's all we ask. That's literally all we ask.
And that's with any culture too. That's why any culture.
That's why we gave people like Eminem, people like let me think. Mac Miller. Yep. Mac Miller.
Peace, homie.
I can go on and on, but people like that who have respected the culture enough to delve into the culture, not just make the music, not just listen to the beats, not just wear the clothes or put tats on their face. They actually dived into the culture, learned the culture, went through the same struggles to get to where they are today, and is still going on as respected people in the culture. Jennifer Lopez was a fly girl on Living Color.
In Living Color.
Eminem was a boy from the tracks who went through it. All his friends was from the same hoods. All his raps was... He's from Detroit, the armpit of America.
I thought that was Florida.
What? No. Florida is the craziest.
Yeah. My bad people from Florida.
No, they're crazy. No, my bad people from Florida. But, yeah, literally all we ask is... I don't know. Florida's crazy. Anyways, yeah, all I was saying was just that all we ask is that people respect the cultures. And I always say, as I've heard this, I'm always saying that they want our flavor without the struggle. They want the good things without the struggle it takes to get those things. They want the rhythm, they want the fashions, they want the coolness, they want everything without going through the depression. We are the strongest race, speaking as African Americans, that assimilated and made their own in a country that they never asked to be at. A lot of the people talk about, go back to where you came from and stuff like that. The funny part about that is, say that to yourself too. Because absolutely no one is supposed to be here but the natives. Hence why they're called the natives. There's a reason why you have a name that goes in front of American. Because you were supposed to be one place, but you ended up here. Point blank period. The only reason that no one says German American, Polish American is because the whites didn't want to feel like they didn't belong. Hence why they're called Caucasian and white. And that's it.
From the mountains of Caucasus.
That's why they think a race is American. It's a location.
Seriously, if you go anywhere else in the world, you're American.
Right.
You're not African American. You're American.
Right.
It's like, oh, that American over there. Oh, that black guy? Yeah, he's from America. He's American. Not, African American. No, you are American because you come from America. You were born in this country. Therefore, you are this.
And that's because...
But we have
such a pinhold on race.
In this country, like, oh, he's African American.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just American, man.
Yeah.
I'm not from Africa.
There's no way he's from here, so I need to explain.
Yeah, my ancestors are from from Africa. And I have ancestors from America as well. But me specifically, I am from America.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh, to be exact.
There's nowhere else I can go because this is it.
Yeah.
This is where I've been, this is where I'm going to be, and this is where I'm going to end up.
Although I would like to go back to Africa to visit there.
I'd love to go to Egypt. I'd love to go to West Africa. I'd love to go... I don't know too much about South Africa because, they have their political views that still need to be dealt with. But I'm down to always travel. London has their times. However, London is a lot more progressive place than here.
I want to go...
Same thing with Canada.
I want to go to a country like that. I mean, that speaks English. Obviously, I want to go to Italy too, but that speaks English.
Right.
So I could go to a country and
I would actually enjoy it. But they think our accents are stupid.
So do you think it's the opposite? Like, you think their accents are like cool? Like, do you think it works the other way around?
And our accents are Pittsburgh AF. Yeah, so they'll be like, ew.
They think that we all sound like cowboys. I don't understand it.
I never understand that either.
Do an American accent. Oh, howdy.
Oh, God.
We don't talk like that.
No,
man.
yeah, no. Time I went to a place close. I went to a bachelor party up there.
At State College.
Yes. The outskirts, though. Nowhere near the university.
In State College.
Yes. It was like, at best, an hour to 45 minutes away from Penn State. As soon as I hit that town, the whole time was like, I don't know who invited this colored here, but he is not welcome. And I felt that the whole time I was there. Even the people that some of the people that we went to see had a hard time just getting to know me based off of just a person, but trying to see how much of a stereotype I was.
What do you mean?
He's not going to know how to handle any of this because the city boys don't like to get dirty. Or he's going to be scared to shoot a gun because they don't know how to hunt out there. Or all these perceptions that they think based off of what TV and maybe what they heard, that down here we don't like to do anything they like to do up there.
Like black people don't hunt.
Right. Black people don't hunt. Black people don't like to listen to country. Black people don't. And
which is false.
It's very false because I told especially friends from Slippery Rock many a times that the reason why I don't like certain country because it's not relatable. I love country that I can relate to, aka the Sam Hunts, Dan and Shay.
I don't like any of that new poppy stuff. Believe it or not.
What?
Seriously, believe it or not. Like I like the old country.
Dan and Shay is everything.
It's because they're from Pennsylvania.
And they can sing their butt off. Come on. You don't like them at all. Oh, please. You don't like them because they put people in their feelings.
Nah, I like Johnny Cash.
Oh, God. Anyways.
I do.
Anyways, yeah, and then, we went four-wheeling one day, and I had the best time because it was I never went mudding before. I was obviously wearing the wrong clothes because I don't know how to dress for occasions like that, and ruined $100 pair of shoes. But anyways, we were mudding. I had the best time, and then we stopped at this cabin, and all these older dudes were there and stuff like that, and one of the guys got out of the four-wheeler and went to go talk to them, and they're all staring at me like I'm a circus act, why is he here? The dude who was right beside me driving the four-wheeler, he was just stay in here with me. We don't want any problems and stuff like that. I'm in my head, why does there need to be a problem? I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here.
Because it's ignorance. Because people won't take the time out of the day to try to understand people. They want to go off of stuff that they think is true without actually having the information. And some of them actually do have the information and still don't want to take the time out.
Yeah, they just choose not to.
Yeah.
It's that's what pisses me off the most about it, is the fact that people almost act as if I'm overreacting when I go through races, when I go through slurs, when I go through discrimination. And I'm this is active every day. Yeah. The only difference is I just brush it off because I go through it every day. I go through it at work, went through it at school, go through it just walking down the street.
Me, on the other hand, I'm so oblivious to stuff. Be oh, no, it's fine. Have a nice day. Did I ever tell you that I wore my shirt? My sister got me a shirt for Christmas one year that said, I forgot what it said, but it was a pro-black saying.
Okay.
I don't know if it was black by popular demand, which I want that shirt because that's...
Yeah, that's awesome. By, what is it, HGC Apparel? A little plug in there.
Oh, no.
Support your black businesses.
I remember what it said. It said, I am more than a stereotype, is what it said.
Oh, wow.
And then I wore it in Grove City, and I went to the Walmart. It was a couple years ago. And somebody stopped me. It's just I'm glad you do. I'm just
I didn't ask for your input.
Okay.
Thank you.
I tell you what, I never wore that shirt again.
Yes. Why?
Why? Because I don't want random old, people coming up to talk to me about my damn shirt. Okay?
Yeah, I don't know where my black movement bracelet went, but I used to wear that thing all the time. And I always love a chance to educate somebody. If someone's willing to sit down and listen on why I wear the things I do and why I say the things I say and why I love my skin so much and what it represents, I always love to have a conversation. But when you're going to sit there and just spew out hate to me, I have an active problem with that. That's why I do have, with the variety of friends I do have, I always like to have conversations with them to see where their mindsets are, because at any point, I don't want us to progress as friends, and I never feel comfortable bringing my kids around them, because I don't feel like my kid's going to be protected.
That's-
Because if someone says something sideways to my kid, you're just
Yeah.
going to be like, oh, just brush it off instead of protecting them.
Yeah.
And they're going to go around thinking it's okay for them to be called the N-word or any other basis.
I like once heard somebody say like, you know, be the change that you want in the world.
Right.
And if you have like a big group of friends that are from different like backgrounds, different cultures, like
Mm-hmm.
you have conversations like that. That's the first step of like trying to figure out all the BS that's going on in this country. Because there is a lot of BS going on in this country, whether you want to believe it or not. There is.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first step.
So, kind of like bringing it to a relatable sense, why do you think people don't take the fact that black people are being killed so frequently seriously? Like no other race, you don't see any other race in America getting mass murdered to the effect that we are.
I don't know. I don't know if I can answer that question because I really don't know.
Like when I just turn on the TV and I see another black church, another black trans woman, I see another little girl, I see another person shot on their lawn.
To our governments, you know, you gotta hold these people accountable for the stuff that they do.
And I don't know why they want to protect the perpetrators so bad.
Because of our government.
But
Because the police, and I, not against police at all, for the police, but the ones who do their jobs correct.
You're right. I for one, someone can correct me later if I'm wrong, but I for one believe that the police were created to monitor minorities. When the Irish came over, when the Chinese came over, when the Hispanics started coming over more frequently, the police became so serious that they're like, okay, we need to monitor the active rising population to monitor these minorities. And with a basis like that being so widely known in an area, people obviously start to fear it because they see that they're actively being pressed by one type of person, aka the cops.
Yeah.
All the good news and all the good that the cops are doing don't get the same media as the bad stuff.
No, it doesn't.
So
like, we could
that puts
also talk
fear, but that puts fear in the active minorities as they get older. Then they believe that who is for me if the cops,
Yeah.
the person I'm supposed to call when there's an emergency, the person I'm supposed to call when I'm in distress,
Right. The cops don't
can't even protect me.
Mm-hmm. What if the police officer was overstepping his bounds, which does happen, because they are human. They're not always in the right.
Nope.
They're human beings.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, they will make mistakes. But we need to hold the people that do make mistakes accountable.
If not more.
And not even mistakes. If they're doing stuff that is wrong, ethically, we need to hold them accountable. The police need to police the police.
Mm-hmm. One thing I will say though, I feel like one thing I do like about our generation is the fact that we just don't sit down and let things happen. I had a conversation with my uncles that I feel as though they told me that they feel as though our generation's not doing enough. And I was like, oh, that's funny, because I feel like their generation is not saying enough because their generations are the one who's in political standings right now. All the people from the generation before us are the ones in office.
Right.
So things should be happening more if you feel like we, as our generation, isn't doing anything when you, in fact, have the power to do something. We took the initiative to make the Black Lives Matter movement, to make the Me Too movement, to put a stand-in for greenhouse gases, that our planet, our people, and our things are protected in some type of sense, or feel protected because they have people behind them to support them. How many times have you seen situations where, like, the black people having a barbecues getting the cops called on them, the little girls selling waters getting cops called on them, and those people who call the cops on those innocent people get actively reprimanded? Not by the cops, but by the people supporting those who know they did nothing wrong.
Well, that might actually start to become
Cancel culture.
Yeah, well, that might become. It might start to become
A law.
an offense. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
It should be. You should not be able to call the cops because I don't like this person.
Well, if you figure it's a waste of taxpayer money.
Because the cop has to go out there, assess the situation. That's 30 to an hour that they're spending with the person trying to get both stories, and then to find out it was nothing.
And then that takes a police officer away from a situation that could possibly happen, like from a more dire situation.
Yeah.
Do you think like the cops like laugh at situations like that? They come to the situation because they have to, because they were called in. So they have to come and see to check out what's going on. And then they're just like, so let me get this straight, ma'am. You called us because they're in the park having a barbecue?
See, I think they laugh and they get more frustrated than anything. How actively...
If I was a police officer and I got that call, and I was in the area and I got that call, I would be frustrated. I'm just like, are you serious, woman?
Yeah, like...
You know what? Give me a
For
burger.
how frequent I watched a lot of Campus PD, Live PD, Cops, and Law and Order, everything, like, type of stuff growing up, because I do like the criminal system. Like, I never shy away from educating myself on what actually goes on and what actually needs to be known. And I find that it's a sense of relief and a sense of frustration when it's a call like that, because they're like, dag, I could have been helping somebody else who's actually going through something, but now I'm stuck with this idiot. And then it's that, why? And then you get that argument of people like, well, why don't you go spend time with like a drunk driver or somebody who gets caught with weed before it was legal? They're like, why don't you go catch the real criminals? Because I'm being caught for this stupid stuff when you actively know this is against the law, and I'd have to drive all the way out here, so I couldn't get the real criminals that I need to be getting because you keep actively doing this stupid small stuff. Make it make sense. You can't complain about things that you are ultimately in charge of making happen.
Yeah.
Who else is to blame? You did it. You're in trouble now. I have to arrest you. You're going to be in for about 3 hours to a day, and you're going to be released when I could have got someone else who's actually doing harm.
People don't think like that.
No, because it's ultimately always someone else's fault. One thing I will say about the current standing of America today is it's always someone else's fault. It's never taken for face value.
No one ever takes the blame.
No
one's ever honest about that. Oh yeah, I messed up. That's me. Extreme ownership. I'm reading a book. I was listening to the way over here, but like, so I get Audible to listen in the car on my way to drive places. Anyways, I have a book called Extreme Ownership, which is written by I forgot, his name is Jocko something, but he just goes around, he just explains that like your team fails because you as the leader have failed. You failed the people that were on your team. But if you're not taking ownership of this situation, you know what, you're right. This didn't happen because I didn't do the things that I was supposed to do. And nobody, I don't want to say nobody wants to do that, but it's very rare.
It's only rare because for some reason no one ever wants to. Integrity is not a thing anymore. Accountability is not a thing anymore.
I disagree.
Huh?
I disagree.
I mean,
I think in certain places it is. I always try to be honest.
You're saying more often than so people's accountability and integrity is taken more seriously.
I think it depends on the person.
I think in the media that it is not a thing.
In the media? Absolutely.
I'm talking about what's being shown. I'm not talking about what we see on an active basis.
Okay.
To where we are held to a standard to where we have to take responsibility for the actions we make because we were raised right. I'm talking about people who have had themselves spoon-fed all their lives. And now that America and beyond is calling them out for certain things, they're like, oh, I never said that. Oh, I never did that. but we have a video, we have a recording.
Could you imagine
we
how...
have text
Right.
showing that you did this.
Could you imagine...
Oh, that's fake.
Could you imagine how different it would be if people just owned up? It's like, oh, yeah, we found this stuff. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I did say that whenever I was younger. I was stupid and I was dumb. I apologize for that.
Do you know when... I mean, I hate to do this.
And there have been people that did that. James Gunn, director of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, said that. He said, he's just like, yes, yeah, I did say these things. Yes, I absolutely said these things, and I apologize.
Right. Still don't like him, but I was like, yeah, you
gotta respect him for doing that, though.
Mm-hmm. Thank you guys for listening to part 1 of this podcast. We are going to continue this conversation on the next podcast, which should be out by next Friday, the Friday after, obviously, this first one. Thank you and peace.